Dee Villarubia.
What was your involvement in the organization?
Well, I'm a co-founder of Causa with Dan Graney and his partner Roberto and Nancy Russell. And so this has been something near and dear to me for a long time. I, I was at King William for a whole day. I went to my neighborhood. I block walked, phone banked, and it was just an amazing time to be asking people. I realized I thought I was out of the closet, but when I had to go talk to my people that were my neighbors at my apartment complex and the managers, I realized you're not out to any of them. Not any of them. So I became even more out because I had my communities that I thought I was 100% out, and then I realized, oh, you're not out to the people that you talk to daily. So it was very amazing for me to, one, realize I was an out lesbian who wasn't out in my neighborhood. So, that sort of, it made me rethink about what's being out. And I really was afraid to tell many of my neighbors and managers that I was gay. And I was shockingly surprised that they signed it. Even a Muslim lady signed it. She said, how can I win human rights for me if I don't want them for you? Which blew my mind because they're even more unfriendly in their religion, Christianity is. So anyway, long answer to short question.
What was a highlight for you?
Oh Lord, I can think of two right off the bat. Three. Well, one of the highlights was, I don't remember, it was one of those nights that we went to 1 a.m. in front of the Citizens to be Heard, and I think it was the Get Equal group. Jay, oh Lord, I can't remember names too well. Jay Mars. Anyway, four of them got up in front of the room, and I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, the row I was in, Daisy, myself, 12 more people got up, and without words, we became four sets of four. Nobody told us how to stand. We just sorted ourselves out in four sets of four. Without any conversation, all of a sudden, we held hands and we put our heads down for what seemed like a fairly long time. And then Jay said, that's how long silence is. That's what it is to be in silence. And we will not be silent anymore. It felt like God or the Spirit had us all rise and do that, because it was not without planning or discussion. That was just an amazing, I keep telling that one to many, many people. I flew up, when we won the vote, I flew up to Philadelphia, unplanned, because I had to be with a spiritual gay community, because to be healed of the hatred and the words, hours and hours of hatred to 1 a.m. many, many nights. So I went to be with these Virginia Ramsey Mollenkopf, 82-year-old lesbians who wrote spiritual books about omnigender. And that was the story I told them. The story of the four of us, four at a time, 4 rows of four. And they were just amazed. And the other two, Eric Alver, our hero, the first person to be injured in Iraq, and he's got an artificial leg, and he was eloquent, and yet he was booed. A wounded gay veteran was booed by Christians in front of a room of 200 people. That was one of the reasons I had to be healed and go up to be with gay spiritual people. And the other one was the morning of our win. We hadn't figured out we won yet. And when Ray Saldana was given his reasons, he was the first to speak. When Ray Saldana spoke and said, even though he's Christian, even though he's a Catholic, he was going to vote for us, and he was eloquent. And the row I was in, we all were crying just to hear him say that. And as each one of the 8 spoke, the tears, and they were eloquent. And they weren't short stories about why they cared about us. They were long, eloquent expositions of how they have come to believe in justice for us. And I'm 67 years old. I never thought I'd live to see this day. And we won the vote. We were crying outside. Hundreds of us were crying and hugging. Anyway, those were my memorable moments. And it's a new day. I felt like the next morning, for the next week, for the next month. Every day I was in this joy, this euphoric joy that I never felt before, because for the first time in my life, I was an Air Force officer. The first time in my life I can say the Pledge of Allegiance, justice for all, and say it, because I usually say it out loud as I could be so everybody hears it, justice for some. That morning I told the city council, I finally can say justice for all. It means me and us.